Welcome to the One Hub Racing Season 14 Pinnacle Tier here for the Canadian Grand Prix. My name is Austin Smith and I welcome you together with Jamie Metcalf. Jamie, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very good. I'm looking forward to this race.
Yeah, in case you are wondering who this weird new voice is, I am the reserve commentator because Kieran McGinley, unfortunately, is not able to make it tonight. He is traveling to Snetterton, so greetings out to him. And so who we have for the grid walk, Jamie?
We're going to invite you guys. Would you invite our new driver? We invite them in. We're going to invite our new driver, Yunul, in. And we're going to invite Leon in, who he was leading the championship, but he hasn't scored the last two races, so he'd be looking to get some form back. And we'll invite Ollie in as well, our race winner last week. He won it in dominant fashion last week. He was really on form last week, and he's got a 5-point lead in the championship now, I believe, over Leon, who is yet to score in two races. So it's interesting.
Yeah, however, Leon does have quite a bit of momentum. If not for the Monaco race where he did not finish, the last three races before Monaco that he participated in, as he wasn't there for the Spanish Grand Prix, he all won. He won in Bahrain, he won in China, he won in Azerbaijan, 3 in a row, back to back to back. And then wasn't able to make it for Spain, and that's when, all the bad stuff started. Now Monaco, not able to make it, or not finished, and there he is. So Leon, oh, he left again. All right, fantastic. Well, yeah, let's start with Ollie. I mean, that race in Monaco, Ollie. First off, welcome. That race in Monaco, I mean, you dominated. You got the pole. You won the race. You got the fastest lap, 26 points. Do you think you're able to continue this here in Canada? The championship is pretty close right now. We have the top three within 11 points. Considering that this is basically the last race of the first third of the season, with 21 races, the first 7 are kind of a little bit of a cut there. How important do you see Canada today or tonight being in the grand scheme of things, aka the Drivers' Championship? Hmm. I mean, considering it's a bad track, you did pretty well in Bahrain, just finishing second. So maybe it's not all that bad. Maybe there is some hope here for Canada as well. Hmm. Yeah, the curbs will definitely be an issue here. I think that much is certain, and corner cuts will obviously play a role in here as well. Um, yeah, turn one, obviously also a tricky place. So Ollie, thank you very much. We're going to move on to Leon, who is second in the standings, only 5 points behind Ollie. And Leon, you were on a pretty good run before Spain. Won 3 races in a row, and weren't able to make it at the Spanish Grand Prix. And then what happened at Monaco?
Monaco was probably a race I don't really want to talk about. It was just a combination of errors coming into one. I had to brake for Spain, and then came back Monaco, and just, I don't know, I just wasn't feeling like I had the grip. I've made silly mistakes. Most of them were caught on stream, unfortunately. But yeah, it was just a combination of mistakes, and it ended up with me getting no points and being in the wall.
But I mean, you're only 5 points behind Ollie, so nothing's lost yet, and only 6 races in. How much do you look ahead in the standings, those 5 points up, and how much do you look those 6 points down to Nexus Legend?
With Ollie not being here for next week, I'm not really going to focus on him. Obviously, because I can get a few points on him next week. Legende, he's looking quick. He's obviously got better form than what I've got, because I've probably got the worst form on the grid at the moment, not having points in the past 2 races. I just need to try and focus on probably beating Legende, because he's gained a lot on me and Ollie, considering after the first 4 races I was flying. I just need to try and focus on getting my form back up and trying to outscore Legende, I think.
How do you feel here at the Canadian Grand Prix? How do you feel the track? Is it a track you like? Is it a track you don't like?
Canada is one of my favourites. I don't know, since I started league racing a couple of years back, it's just been one of my favourites. I just seemingly have the rhythm with it. I don't really want to try and curse myself, but I've not made many errors around this track. But yeah, I can usually keep it clean, and I think if you do keep it clean, especially in the first couple of laps around here, you'll probably do pretty well.
It is most likely one of the most important factors here, to pick up as few penalties as possible. I think the final question is, how much are you looking at the constructor standings? I mean, Williams, your team, you're having 53 points of a gap to McLaren behind, and then it's really bunched up with Racing Point just 1 point behind that, and Ferrari another point behind that. But you're having a really big gap there. So how much of a concern are the constructor standings for you right now?
Constructor standings probably isn't a concern, because me and my teammate did pretty well for the first 4 races, mainly me. Was able to build that gap, and luckily, because of our bad form at the moment, our gap is still quite good, but 50 points, you could practically lose that in 1 race, so I am a little bit worried about it, and I think we'll just focus on trying to gradually extend the gap.
All right, thank you very much then, and good luck for the race.
Thank you.
So, hold on, who else do we have here? I think it's Janu, right?
I guess. I don't know.
That's as Finnish as it gets, Janu. It's it's your first race here in one hub this season, and in the Alfa Romeo. What are your expectations?
To have a clean race and have some fun, I guess.
All right. Are you doing a Kimi Räikkönen impression, or is that you?
No, just being me. But
okay.
Yeah, it's just maybe want some points. I don't know.
How much?
Yeah.
How much do you like Canadian Grand Prix? How much do you like the track, and how well do you feel you're able to go here?
Well, I should be okay, but not my favorite or the best track for me, but I'll try my best.
And what are your expectations for this race? I mean, it's your first one here. What would be a result where you would say that was a good race? That was a good result. I'm happy with that.
Well, I'd say a podium.
Okay, that is quite far up the order. But I mean, you wouldn't be the first one. Taze Leroy in Monaco, his first race of the season here in the Pinnacle Tier, finished second place. So it's not impossible. And considering that I've seen you race before,
Yes.
I wouldn't put it past you to repeat that what Leroy has done in the last race.
Yeah, hopefully I can do something.
All right. Thank you very much for the interview, and good luck for the race as well to you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, good luck, thanks.
All right. Jamie, so who do you think is the or are the favorites for this race? Obviously, I think Ollie going off his last win in Monaco, his dominant win. Obviously one of the favorites, Leon trying to bounce back. They're the championship leaders. Nexus Legend as well, but who else do you see outside the top 3 in the championship being a contender here at Canada?
I think Westie's got a good chance. Obviously, he's not had the best of form recently, but his pace is really strong, and he got the front row in Spain. And yeah, he's really quick driver, but he just gets involved too many silly incidents for my liking. So yeah, I think he can be a contender. And also, Skivan, I think he joined last week, and he said Monaco was his best track. So I expect to see a bit more from him this week. Maybe he can be with his teammate Leroy, because they were right next to each other on the grid. So, but them two Haas pairing, they could show a lot of promise in this race today. And I also think I'm interested how Janul does the rookie, because I've heard a lot of good things about him, and if he can get a podium, it'll be a really good debut for him. And Jonas as well, his teammate, he had a good race last week. He showed really strong form, and Alfa Romeo will be looking to push up the constructors' table.
Yeah, I mean, Jonas last week in Monaco had a really good race. I mean, he started in Monaco, mind you, in 13th place, which that's basically your race doomed. But what did Jonas do? He finished in 4th. Absolutely remarkable.
He's made a lot of good overtakes as well, which, overtaking on Monaco was an absolute nightmare. So yeah, he showed really good form, and I think he should take a lot of promise from that. We've got 19 drivers today, so that's our best turnout of the season. So congratulations, good. So it's good to see 19 drivers today. Obviously, a track where overtaking is possible, and we also believe there'll be a 2-stop race today.
Yeah, indeed. In preparation for this race, I've looked a bit at the strategies. Watched a little bit of the Podium Tier race. If you haven't got it, it was a pretty good race. But most of those drivers were doing 2-stops, so I wouldn't be surprised there are a couple 1-stops. But what seems to be the issue here is that the hard tire is really, really tough to get up to temperature. And so it's basically not a viable race tire. And so you're stuck with soft to medium, and they're the softest compounds, C5 and C4, meaning they don't last all too long. So a 2-stop is very much in order here.
No, yeah, obviously this track has got a lot of traction zones, so you'll be burning them rear tyres in the traction zone. So yeah, I do believe 2-stop is key, and obviously the pit loss is around 16 seconds. That's the shortest in the calendar. So obviously you do skip out the final chicane you come in. You do skip out turn one and turn 2 and pit exit. So yeah, you can gain a lot of time. You think you're going to come out behind the guy, but you come out ahead of them. So yeah, that might be one to keep a close eye on as we're about to start.
Yeah, which by the way also means, as we have 13 seconds until the session starts, until qualifying goes underway, you have to remember, in case there is a safety car here, a virtual safety car, and you're one of the lucky ones who can pit, you're losing almost no time. I mean, 16 seconds. Now consider that all the other cars would have to drive slow on that pit straight. You're losing under 10 seconds maybe. and that is just, I mean, that's absolutely a free pit stop. That's not half a free pit stop or something. No, that's a fully free pit stop basically. So if we do get a safety car here, which in Canada always possible, the walls are pretty close here, but not exactly a guarantee like it is usually in Singapore, or Monaco as well. If it happens, it might really jumble up the order.
Yeah, especially if you're sort of in a pit window, because but even not in a pit window of a two-stop race, you can maybe even take a gamble on the hard tyres. Maybe you feel to go to the end. You might struggle though, but we've seen some guys make it work, so that we want to keep close eye on us. We'll see what the weather is for qualifying.
Yeah, but the trouble again, if you use the hard tires and try to make it to the end, the trouble then would be that on this track at least, it's pretty easy to overtake. We have 3 DRS zones. We have a lot of long straights. We have a lot of good overtaking opportunities. The best, obviously, into the chicane, into turn 10, into the hairpin, into turn 1. There's plenty of overtaking opportunities. Into turn 8, that's where the first DRS zone ends. So there's plenty of opportunities on this track where you can overtake. So I would not exactly be a proponent of going onto the hards trying to make it to the end.
It's not like Monaco where you can be a sitting duck here. If you're sitting duck, you're just going to get swallowed up. Because one of our guys coming out of pits now, a mix of tyres so far, but I do expect the vast majority of these drivers to qualify on them soft tyres at the end.
Yeah, that seems to be, considering again that the hards are not a viable race tire, and the mediums and the softs are. I think that's probably the way to go. But as we often see in these qualifying sessions, you have drivers who go out on the hards who then decide to, or on the mediums who just decide to do a couple laps, get warm with the track conditions, and then once the conditions on track are the best, they bring out their preferred qualifying tire and do 1 or 2 runs to get their lap time in.
Because obviously there's no practice session for these guys. This is the first time tonight they'll drive in these specific conditions, and the conditions do alter between whether it's like clear like this or if it's a bit cloudy. So yeah, I'm not surprised to see these guys going for it on these hard tyres, but a few guys going for laps, and we'll try and get a guy who start a lap, and I believe
Jonas is the first one here.
Yeah.
Across the line.
The medium tyre.
Yeah.
So,
and we get a yellow flag in Sector 3. Maybe there's someone in the Wall of Champions already.
Yeah, a lot of these yellow flags you see, they're for guys slowing down. Obviously, they haven't got a white flag in this game, annoyingly, so you'll see that yellow flag flash up a lot.
Yeah, fair enough. Especially on a rather short track like this. I mean, Canada only 4.361 kilometers long. One of the shortest tracks on the calendar. So it does get crowded, especially with 19 participants here in the Pinnacle Tier today.
Yeah, with a short track, we do expect to see a tight grid here, and as far as the whole field separated by around a second. We've seen that a few times already this season, but yeah, we'll see if it happens today. As Jonas, it's hard to tell what sort of laps on at the moment because we haven't got any reference point, but we'll find out shortly. But we do expect the pole lap to be in we do expect the pole lap to be in the mid 1.7s on the soft tyres, so maybe a good lap in medium would be around the mid 8s.
Rob Forbes just picked up a 5-place grid penalty for a collision with Asahina. What happened there?
Well, I caught the end of it. I don't know what happened there, but Forbes he's missing a whole part of his front left wing, so I'm guessing Asahina.
Oh wow. Yeah, there's a lot missing. It just switched over, and that front wing does not look symmetrical. And let's look at Asahina. He apparently came out of this just fine, but
I wonder he's not on a quick lap, so I wonder if he backed off and Forbes went back of him. That's what it looks like there. As you know, it's our first guy set the lap on the soft to 109.1. That will not be anywhere near pole position. And
Rob Forbes forgot to enter the pits and then realized that, oh, he has a broken front wing, so he went through the chicane and then back. A little bit forgetful there, but that may happen. Let's look at Asahina here. Yeah, he backed out, so there's not much going on there. Praga right now in the lead on provisional pole with still 13.5 minutes left, so plenty of time for all the drivers. In fact, we only have 1/4 of this qualifying session over, and now Ollie Flavel, the championship leader, pushing it into the 108s, and that will not be the end of it. It will go into the 107s here, most likely.
Yeah, Ollie's in the wrong car. She'd be in the McLaren, so he's racing for McLaren, but somehow he's in the Red Bull. I don't know how that's happened, but yeah.
Yeah, there is no other McLaren on track, so well, Bag of Bones, obviously his teammate, but there's no second McLaren.
So, yeah, I don't know how that's happened there, but yeah.
But he will count for McLaren, even though he picked the wrong car. For the viewers, Ollie will count in the constructor standings for McLaren in this race, despite being in a Red Bull. Little mistake there on his part. It happens, you know.
Yeah, well, next week I'm doing the team reviews, but I'm not going to chuck in Red Bull yet. So he's got to do better than that to get in the Red Bull. But yeah.
Meanwhile, Leon, his championship rival, and Jano, look at that! There you go, the newcomer here in One Hub Racing in the Pinnacle Tier, moving himself up to second place ahead of the championship leader. Meanwhile, Leon in the Williams.
Coming that lap of field, lap soft, so you wanna put a fresh set on, don't think we'll start on them tyres.
Yeah. Again, we're very early in the qualifying session, so obviously, you know, this isn't the be all end all for most of these drivers. This is just to warm up and get familiar with the conditions here. Because remember, every time you do load into an F1 2019 session, as Westy takes provisional pole with a 108.2, we're getting there. We're getting to the mid 107s. Every time you load into a lobby, the conditions are different. So you need to familiarize yourself with them, and that's exactly what the drivers are doing here.
Yeah, it was Legends about to start a lap, so we'll keep an eye on that, see what he does. Obviously the guy in third place, our third championship contender at the moment, yet set lap time, so interested to see how he goes.
And meanwhile, Jano has a little bit of front wing damage here on the right side, but he's very slow anyway. Yeah, so it's not much of a...
Yeah, I saw at the end of his lap, he went deep in turn 1, so I wonder if he went off at the end of turn 2, so I wonder if he scraped the wall down and he's in lap. But yeah, he's going to come in now, bought a fresh set of tyres on and come out and do another run.
Yeah, one other aspect I think for these drivers is that they're probably on different tyre distributions.
Yeah, some guys obviously you get three choices when you enter the lobby. You get harder, which means you get 2 set of softs qualifying, 1 set of mediums, 1 set of hards. You get middle, which you get 3 sets of softs and 1 set of mediums, and you get softer, where you get 4 sets of softs for the qualifying. So it is feasible to do. You can do 4 runs in qualifying, but you've got to really time your runs perfectly. Legend goes second, a good lap hit there for the Racing Point driver.
Yeah, it was a pretty good lap from him there. Really pushed hard and got himself up to the front row for now. But you see the top 5 are pretty much the guys we would expect. Westy, who's 4th in the standings. Next is Legend, who's 3rd in the standings. Leon, who's 2nd in the standings. Ollie Flavel, who's the leader in the standings. And then Janul, who pretty confidently said he would be happy in his first race here at One Hub Racing if he scores a podium here today. And starting from 4th place would be a good start for that.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, you'd be right in that. Obviously, if you want to be in the podium, you want to be ideally in the first 3 rows of the grid, so you avoid if you're sort of further down, the likelihood of getting involved in carnage is quite high. But yeah, that's a good start for him so far. But there's still plenty of time to go. We're not even half through the session yet, so I do expect these lap times to drop as drivers get more and more confident.
Yeah, I'm looking at the previous results right now. I've got this beautiful little screen here for myself, and something interesting that I'm noticing right now is the lowest starting position this season to win a race was third place, and that was Nexus Legend in Spain. He started from third and won. Other than that, it was always second or first. It was always the front row, a driver in the front row, to go on to win the race.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting that sometimes you do get a bit of a carnage and furious race where you do see guys further down taking advantage, but I've had that so far this season. It sort of follows in line with the modern F1 now, where you tend to see the guys in the first two rows win the race. So yeah, that is a bit of a surprise. I did expect to see a guy maybe like 5th or 6th win the race, but the season's still young, so I expect that start to change as we get deeper in the season.
And I think you have to remember that most of these tracks that we had in the first 6 races are pretty hard to overtake on. Obviously, Monaco being the number one hard to overtake on track on the calendar, but Spain really one where it's quite tough to make a move. China, yeah, there's the long straight, but other than that, if you don't have a good exit out of that snail corner, you know, Bahrain is an easy one, but Australia is not that easy to overtake on. Azerbaijan isn't, so Canada here might be the odd one out come the end of the race. We might actually see a driver from P4 or behind on the grid actually taking the win here.
Yeah, and looking how close this grid is at the moment, yeah, that is feasible. As I was just modelling Janel there, and he was coming out the turn 3, turn 4 chicane, and he hit that wall, and he's got wind damage, so his lap's done. He'll be coming back in the pits again.
Yeah, now we're getting into crunch time a little bit. It's still 7 minutes, still a little bit of time there, but if you're making a mistake now, you're really hurting your qualifying, because again, it really all comes down to your last run. That's when the conditions on track are the best. That's when the track temperature is the highest, and that's when the grip levels are the highest. So the best situation for you to really get a quick lap time in and take pole position. I've yet to see, but it happens very rarely that the final pole position time is set in the first 12 minutes of qualifying. Usually it happens within the last 2, at the very least within the last 6.
Happens at the end, yeah, as Leon gets pulled there with a 1. Yeah, we're getting there, we're getting to 107s, that 107 will go, don't worry about that. There's Westy was on lap there, but he didn't gain, so he's lost, so he's still in second, but yeah, the championship contender, the guy in second championship's on pole, and Ollie's down in 6th. He want to be higher than that on the grid, because he's only going to be stuck in his midfield.
Yeah, but remember, he talked about how this track, Canada, is not one of his favorites. To the contrary, in fact, that he really doesn't like this one here. And so maybe that's what we're seeing here, that he's in 6th place now. Almost getting beaten by Run Line here, in fact, who just misses out on getting into the top 3 rows for now, into 7th place. But that might be what we're seeing here. A really strong field with Leon, with Westy, with Nexus Legend, with Praga, Janel, and Ollie just falling off a little bit because this is not his track.
No. See, it's another key factor around here. We haven't mentioned this yet. Is the corner cutting and invalidation around here are very common, and you see a lot of guys invalidate their qualifying lap. And you also get in the race, you get a lot of time penalties, and races have been won and lost on penalties in the past. So, and that could be another factor, especially if a late safety car comes out, because that could bunch your field up, and some guy in 6th place not got any penalties could win this race if that happens.
Yeah, meanwhile, Nexus Legend comes across the line, does not make it into the 107s just yet, but with almost 5 minutes left, what do you think? What are the chances of at least one driver getting into the 107s?
Well, if I was a bookmaker, I'd be paying out now, because that lap there, obviously another 4 minutes to go, another 4 minutes track evolution is going to happen, and we have Blizzard in the chat who believes Janel is quick enough to win. Well, he's in 6th at the moment, he's got to find half a second to get on pole. He's on a lap now, so we'll see what he does.
Yeah, meanwhile, Asahina put himself up to 5th place and dropped Ollie out of the top 3 rows here, down to 7th for him. That's
his lap, so normally he'll move to 4th place, but he needs to find a bit more in this final sector.
yeah. He's coming through to the final chicane, to the Wall of Champions. Let's see. Ollie goes straight back into the pits. Okay. He was not, might be, or he just wasn't happy with that run, and wants to change tires. And he does have enough time. Look at this, 1:08 is the time you need for one lap, roughly. If you come out of the pits, actually, probably a bit less, or well, a bit more ultimately, because in the pits you're slow, but. You can come out of the pits with 1:30 left and still make it across the line easily. So for these drivers, it's still a lot of time. And now we see every single driver in the pits, every single one of them, and a lot of them are changing tires. You see this, and now one of the Ferraris comes out. That is Coloman.
Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, while Snow's on the track, I'll do a quick rundown of the top 10 for you. So on pole, we've got Nexus Legend. In 2nd place, got Leon. 3rd place is Westy. 4th is Praga. 5th is Ashiana. Good luck from him. 6th is Juno. 7th is Ollie. 8th is Ron. 9th is Colo. And 10th is James. So look at that. The top 11 are all separated by 8/10.
Yeah, it's really close here. And I think it's only going to get closer from here. Coloman and Nexus Clone were the first ones out on track. Let's go to Nexus Clone here. Yeah, he's coming towards the finish line. He's definitely going to be able to do 2 laps back to back if he's not happy with the first one, or if he invalidates his first one. And how smart of a call do you think that is to leave yourself that option that if you invalidate your lap, which is pretty likely to happen for some of these drivers. It's pretty easy to happen. How smart of a call do you think that is to give yourself that second run?
Yeah, it's good. Obviously you will carry slightly more fuel, but you do have that safety net in mind. And obviously, if you're not happy with your first sector, you just back off anyway. But he's 2 times look at the first sector, so he's not going to be back out this lap unless he invalidates.
Yeah, and he is down 1.1 seconds on the pole sitter right now on Nexus Legend, but
top 10 though. If he gets could get in the top 10 this lap. I'm not sure if the pole position contender, but he could sneak in that top 10.
Let's see how is he gonna fare in the hairpin. Well, looks pretty good to me. Didn't lock up, didn't lose any time there really, and now onto the long straight. Still has plenty of ERS to work with here. Is in overtake mode, and now back into hot lap mode for this corner, and then the acceleration out of the corner. So, looking good.
Tight line.
And across the line, and it is P10. Yeah, as you said, great prediction.
Yeah.
And now he's happy with that one. He just parks it inside turn 2.
Disqualified there, but yeah, I don't expect to stay there though, because I expect a lot of these guys to improve. But yeah, it's a good lap for him, a nice improvement, and he might move up some places for his 14th anyway. So everybody is on the flying lap at the moment, or starting the flying lap, so that's good to see.
Yeah, Coloman went. Oh wow, Coloman went back into the pits, and now has retired from the session. Someone else has moved up. Skeven up to 4th. You mentioned him earlier after the grid walk as one of the drivers to look out for. And there he is, up to 4th, 108.5, and he might have another lap. Let's see. No, he doesn't.
No, he's
Oh, he was in the way of a Mercedes there. That might have been either Rob Forbes or... It was Rob, yeah.
It was Rob, yeah.
That was really, really close, and now Rob's qualifying also over. Let's see. Nexus Legend coming through the middle sector here. Approaching the hairpin of turn 10. Jonas down in 14th. Might actually lose some more positions. Maybe to Taze Leroy. Maybe to TNR Zeekser, I think is that name.
Yeah.
So
Leon's
there's
a good lap here. Can he get pole position? Oh no, he's backed out. He's a
yeah, Leon goes into the pits. Here comes Nexus Legend. Through the final corner, does not open his DRS.
No.
Didn't want to use these tires, maybe? Westy goes into the pits, Skeven goes into the pits. That's it, I think.
Yeah, the only guy to jump up there, as you know, he jumped up to 4th, but everybody else seemed to bottle the lap or invalidate.
Yeah. Unknown African is the only one. He also goes into the pits, so that's it. Nexus Legend here on pole position with Leon in 2nd place. So 2 of the 3 drivers who are in the top 3 of the championship are on the first row, with Ollie Flavel only down in 8th place.
Where you want to be? No, but look at that. We've got from 1st to 16th, set back by 1 second. That just shows how competitive this tier is. But yeah, Ollie, that's not good for him. Obviously, he didn't get a clean lap in, and he's got to do a bit of a cover drive to try and get some damage limitation.
Yeah, meanwhile, Nexus Legend looking to maybe even take the championship lead. Remember, he's only 11 points behind Ollie Flavel and 6 behind ILRT Leon. But here are the standings. Nexus Legend on pole position, ILRT Leon 2nd place. Then we have Westy in the Ferrari in 3rd, Janel 4th, Skeven in the Haas in his 2nd race here in P5, Praga 6, Asahina 7, Ollie Flavel only P8, Bag of Bones P9, Runline 10, Coloman 11, Nexus Clone P12, James Slater 13, Taze Leroy 14, Jonas Ulbricht 15th, Rob Forbes 16 will start in last because of a 5-place grid penalty. Then we have Unknown African P17, Dan Lutonian in P18, and TNR Zeeks are in P19. That is your grid here for the race. Again, the bottom 3 will all move up 1 position because of that penalty to Rob Forbes.
Yeah, so starting back grid. Obviously, starting back grid. If I was him, I'd just take it easy the first lap, because with 19 drivers in that turn 1, there'll be a few guys definitely losing wings. As I'll quickly mention our sponsor, Next Level Racing. Obviously, this season, our sponsors, they've offered a prize up for the top 4 winners of the Drivers' Championship in each volunteers. You're going to get a free, paid for and postage wheel stand, so that's good to see. That's a nice prize for these championship winners. And also, if you want one of these yourself, go on the website, enter the code 1hub10, and you get a nice 10% discount.
That's definitely worth it. Meanwhile, we are waiting here, and also I think that was the perfect time to give a shout out to our race premium drivers, without whom this wouldn't be possible.
Yeah.
This whole One Hub Racing operation here on this grid. That's Westy, Asahina, and Dan Lutonian. So thank you very much. If you want to also support this league, Race Premium is the way to go. More information on onehubracing.com, as the drivers are now on their way to through the formation lab. Nexus Legend taking the field around the track once more before we have our start.
Yeah, beautiful day, I have to say. And we mentioned tyres briefly because that's important. Outside the top 10, you obviously get a free set choice of tyres. And Colo Man, James Slater, Leroy, Jonas, Unknown African, Z3 and Rob have all gone for the medium tyre, whilst Clone and Dan gone for the soft tyre. So that's interesting to see, as I'll have a quick run down the order for you. So on pole position we have Nexus Legend. 2nd place you have Leon. 3rd place Westy. 4th Yunul. 5th Skivan, 6th Praga, 7th Ashiana, 8th Ollie Flavel, our championship leader, 9th Bag of Bones, his teammate, 9th R Online, 11th Coloman, 12th Clone, 13th James Slater, 14th Leroy, 15th Jonas, 16th Unknown African, 17th Dan, 18th Z3 and 19th Rob. Obviously, for the race today, we do expect this to be a 2-stop strategy. So we do expect 2 soft, medium, soft. Is that what you're going for?
Well, there are 2 strategies that I've seen: soft, medium, soft. Or if you're a little bit more, let's say, challenged with regards to tire wear, I've also seen soft, medium, medium. So both of these seem to be almost equally capable, equally fast, and really more preference and, of course, how the drivers are able to deal with the tire wear.
Quick predictions for the race starts.
I'm not in the prediction business. What's your prediction?
I think
But meanwhile, here we go. Nexus Legend on pole position. We are waiting for the start. We see the green flag on the right side of the screen, but we are still waiting for the red lights. Here they are. It is 5 red lights, and the race is underway. The Canadian Grand Prix had a really bad start from Nexus Legend, and Leon already next to him. They go through turn 1 and 2, and it seems like Leon has the lead after the start. Janul in 3rd. He also moved up a position, started in 4th, now up into 3rd. Westy not with the greatest of starts. And Oli Flavel already up 2 places.
Yeah, just got we have in the back.
Yeah, yellow flag and run line already out. So already our first retirement. Run line started in 10th place. Pretty much the middle of the pack. In fact, the exact middle of the pack. And he is now out of the race already. Very, very unfortunate for him here. Meanwhile, 18 drivers still go on into the hairpin. It is ILRT Leon in the lead in the Williams. Generally looking really good for the Williams here. Leon in P1 and Praga, his teammate, in P5.
Yeah, he's on the back of Westy. Westy had a terrible start. We've had a trend in this tier where the guy in pole position has had a terrible start. And that trend continues today. Legend second place. But look at him, he's over the back of Leon now. He's feisty, but let's not forget DRS not online for another 2 laps. So this is going to be pure fighting. There's Ashiana's in the pits already, so he's picked the wind damage, obviously.
Yeah, that it may have been that Asahina. Just a speculation from me as we didn't see it. But it could be that Asahina tangled up with Run Line here, and so he picked himself up some damage from there. Leon, really interesting line there through turn 4 through the left-hander. Took a lot of grass with him, and I'm not so sure if that might have been his first corner cut warning. Remember, you are allowed to pick up 2. The 3rd one gets you a 3-second time penalty, and then it goes on like that. So you can always afford 2 warnings. The 3rd one is a penalty.
Yeah, I do expect the vast majority of these drivers to pick up at least 1 penalty, because the track limits around here are quite strict, and we've heard the strict on this game and the last game. So yeah, I do expect these guys to pick up penalties. As Westy, he's recovered a little bit from a bad start, and he's on the back of your null here, but like you say, no DRS, so you've got to just purely outbrake the guy, and he's got a good run, but you can't really overtake him until this chicane. You've got to try and line your move for turn 1. He gets a good exit here, he's got the opportunity, he's going to go for the inside line for turn 1, but you know squeezing him, giving enough room, he's going to go down the inside. No, not enough, but DRS is down this lap, so he's got to try and maybe force away where he knows that will DRS range, and he can go for it down the straight.
Yeah, and the first DRS zone is on the exit of turn 7, which we are approaching quite quickly. This right here is turn 5, this right-hander, and then we're getting into 6, and the left-hander here, and then 7, and that is the DRS zone. And Janul will not have DRS because he is over a second away from Nexus Legend, but Westy does have it, is not close enough for an overtake just yet. But the best overtaking spot with DRS certainly is on the run up.
Exit there though.
Here Westy now under pressure from Praga. Praga round the outside in the hairpin.
You get a good exit. You get a good exit though.
He gets the better exit, in fact, and he makes the move stick. However, now they both have DRS.
And Olney's not far behind, so he's tracking these two, but Praga gets the move done. He's up to 4th place. Westy, that was nearly contact.
Yeah, that was really close there.
He's got a chance in turn 1, but turn 1's not as good clear overtaking opportunity as down that straight. So, he's getting so close to that Williams gearbox. I'm getting a bit nervous watching that.
Yeah, but there's no front wing damage yet on Westy's side, on Westy's car here. So he's so good so far on that front. Nexus Legend already. That's lap 4. If he continues like that, he's going to end the race with 8 penalties.
Yeah.
And we see some more coming in. Unknown African, Dan Lutonian, they're all picking up their penalties already. That's how quickly this goes here.
Yeah. It's going to be impossible to keep track on that, so we'll have to just wait for the guys across the line, I think. Because, yeah, and obviously you can actually get disqualified if they pick up, I think, is it 9 or 10 penalties, so you can get disqualified, but it'll be a good effort for one of these guys that's disqualified.
In another league, I've actually seen someone do that before. They actually got themselves so many penalties throughout the race that they did get disqualified. I think the limit is 8 or 9. I think it's probably 9. When you say 9 or 10, I think it's 8 or 9, then it's probably 9.
Yeah, I think somebody got that in the Prestige here last week in Monaco, but yeah.
Oh, there's some front wing. There was some front wing flew off. I think that is from Praga. Yes, indeed. The end plate on the right side of his front wing just flew off in the Wall of Champions. He did hit the Wall of Champions as Taze Leroy has retired from this race. And Dan Lutoni goes into the pits pretty early. This is not a scheduled pit stop for him either. And he retires as well. So now we have 3 drivers out of the race already.
Yeah, they both retired in the pits, I believe. Yeah, they both retired in the pits. So yeah, they obviously picked up damage and had enough for the day, which is quite disappointing, but it is what it is.
Yeah, meanwhile, the question for Praga is, does he go into the pits to repair his front wing? It's only the end plate off. It's only the right side end plate that is missing. Does he go into the pits, or does he stay out and try to nurse it to the pit stop, which is going to come up for him anyway? He's on the soft, so it's going to be about lap 7 to 9.
If you're still getting DRS these guys, you might as well hang in there for a lap or 2 and come in. But yeah, you can pit and go for, but obviously the undercut will be negated because that's changed his front wing. So yeah, it's his decision. We'll see what he does.
Oh, he does come in, and so does Westy. And Ollie Flavel gets himself a penalty. Does Westy have some front wing damage? This is really early. No, he doesn't. That is a really early scheduled pit stop here. At the end of lap 5. I did not expect that to happen. That is really, really early. You can't go to the end. You can't go 29 laps, 30 laps on the hard tires. So he's going to have to pit again.
The thing is, Westy's come out a lot of clear air, so maybe fancy an aggressive undercut, but he's going to struggle at the end of his stint because his tyres going to be like 2 or 3 laps older than everybody else, so that is interesting to see. Obviously, was holding guys up, so we'll see if he can get that undercut on him.
Meanwhile, the top 4 have spread out a little bit, and then it's Ollie Flavel who's got, well, it's not much of a train, but at least 2 cars right behind him with Skeven and Koloman, who are looking pretty feisty and willing to bring the fight to the championship leader here. Wrongly in the Red Bull, he's supposed to be in the McLaren.
He's a good first stint, you have to say.
And here goes Skeven into the pits, and so do Nexus Legend and Janel.
Yeah, I got a comment in the chat saying that's like the normal pit window for so that we're seeing these guys. So yeah, I thought it'd be like lap 6, lap 7. I knew it was a 2-stop, I didn't expect it to be that early, but yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was lap 7 to 9. I didn't think it was that early. Lap 6 I can see, usually when I write down my pit windows, I take 3 laps, roughly, where I think it's going to be... I mean, I do these tests, for every race that I commentate as well, and try to work out what could be the fastest strategy. Sometimes I talk to drivers as well, but that caught me by surprise. The drivers do go in this early.
Contact there, I believe, and I think he's got wind damage, has he? It's hard to tell from this angle.
No. The front wings do look good on both drivers here, on both Ollie Flavel and Koloman.
Going a bit leery coming up chicane, so yeah. And interestingly, Westy has jumped, there, so that early pit stop has helped, but he's in DRS range.
Yeah, but he almost has a second. Now Leon does come in, and I think Ollie Flavel probably coming in as well, and Ollie runs into the back of Koloman. Oh, yeah, no. That is the trickery of this pit entry. Now he is getting a front wing change. At least his pit crew is reacting quickly to that, because that was happening in the run-up to the pit stop.
Yeah, that can happen with that corner. You have the guy overtaking. If you're coming on the pitch, you're going flat out, and the guy at the corner, he's braking. So that can happen a lot. You can get contact there a lot, especially if you're racing. Them two are pretty close. Ollie's come out in 5th place. He's got a lot of work to do now.
Yeah, a front wing change does cost you around 8 seconds here, or on any track, 8 additional seconds to the pit stop. So no wonder he really dropped far down the order.
Legends jumped Leon as well, so Legends net lead at the moment. Westy is going to be net 3rd place. So the undercut has worked so far, but these guys from the come to traffic now. These guys ahead haven't stopped, and obviously there's no blue flags. So they've got to pass these guys. but you're behind a car that's on old tyres, it can be a bit nervy.
Yeah, very much so, as they are now running up to the drivers who are out on the track for 7, now 8 laps on those medium tires. So a lot older tires here. How much of a difference does it make when you have 6 laps fresher tires or when you have 1 or 2 lap fresher tires?
I think it could be over. I'd say maybe a second, but maybe over, maybe half a second to a second. And obviously these guys behind the quicker drivers anyway, so that'll take about a second a lap. So yeah, look how much Legend's all the back of the Z3 here, but he cannot take there. But he's got his DRS.
Yeah, and look at this. Legend was doing something very, very smart here. He took the wider line on the entry of turn 7 to then cut back to the inside, straighten up the car a little bit earlier, and make the move on Z3 to get up to 6th place and dispose of that traffic.
Yeah, Z3 outbroke himself there. He was trying to give him room, but he broke a bit deep, and Leon's got through now. Got Westy and on the back of these two now. So,
but
Z3
just try to take me into what's going on in Z3's head right now. What is he thinking? He's not going to fight with these drivers, is he? Because they're on a different strategy anyway.
Yeah, you don't want to fight these guys, but you want to lose it. Anyway, when I was in this situation, I want to lose it. Oh, that was close there, You want to lose it as little time as possible, so necessarily you didn't want to back out on the straight. You want to maybe Skeven's out. You want to literally get these guys come alongside you, and if they've got the inside line, has here, does he? No, he doesn't. If that's the inside line, you give them the corner, but you want to. Ideally, you want them to pass on DRS straight, so you lose as little time as possible there, as D3's lost about 4 places in a lap there.
Yeah, but it was inevitable, but within 1 lap, obviously not.
Spun it!
Yeah, oh wow. I was on Z3, but there goes Asahina, and then Nexus Clone comes through, and now everyone, all this... We're not seeing much. There we go, okay. We're on board with him now. I wasn't able to see much because the camera was, or the car was behind this little crest there, and so really hard to see. But he's driving again.
I presume he hit that curb and it just spun him around. But he's got wing damage. So
he's got heavy wing damage.
Yeah, that's his race over effectively, unless safety car comes out.
Yeah, that might be the only thing to save him. Z3 comes into the pits now. He's had enough of those medium tires. Does he have front wing damage that he got fixed there? No. No, but Janel does come in. Is he going to continue? It's his 2nd stop already. He could, at this point, he could go onto the hards and finish the race.
Yeah, maybe at the end, maybe
and he does.
On go for fastest lap, because obviously if you're outside the top 10, you do get a point for fastest lap, so maybe that's what he's hoping for, but yeah, it's going to be a very lonely race for him now.
Certainly, yes. He is
look
over.
Look at this. We've got Legend, we've got Rob, Legend, we've got this battle for 4th place. Look at all these cars, they're all together at the same place.
Yeah, they're all bunched up behind Rob, who, again, is on now almost 11 old lap mediums, and so they're all trying to push through, have already gained a whole pit stop on him. That is remarkable. That is... But remember, a whole pit stop isn't that much here. It's only 16 seconds, so... But still, that is very, very quick for all of them. As Asahina picks up another 3-second time penalty. That's his 2nd or 3rd. I'm not sure. I've seen 2 at least. It could be a 3rd even. And that after 12 laps. Again, we're talking about if that pace continues, 8 penalties at the end of the race. Maybe 9. And that would be a disqualification.
Yeah, that's not what you want as Leon forcibly goes on the outside of Rob. Then, crucially, Westy's got to get by him here. Do you want to lose time to around his car for a couple of corners? Ooh. See, I'm working on board with Westy. I get a bit nervous because when he breaks, he's always been very close, but he's got away with it there. He's going to get him down here, and he will still have DRS off Leon, I believe, so he hasn't lost too much time.
Meanwhile, Jonas Ulbricht also trying to make it through somehow, but Rob Forbes is at least defending against him quite nicely. Yeah. How easy is it to forget Hey, one of those drivers is actually one you're fighting for position. The other ones,
it is. I actually had it with actually races on me before, and I actually stuck with the quick guys, and the guy that didn't even realise that I was racing him. I snuck by, and I've had it a couple of times the other way as well. It is quite difficult, but you do tend to get a mental picture. I try to anyway. You do. And if in doubt, I always just ask my engineer how old his tyres are. That's the clue. I sort of know when. But in these frantic situations, you don't really have the opportunity to do that. So you can lose your head a little bit there. But Rob, I'd say I think he's realised now.
Yeah, he stayed in front of Jonas there, and well done to him. Well done to him.
Well,
meanwhile,
these guys pit. And that's the question I want to find out now. Will these guys they pit shortly, I believe, and they go another set of mediums and go softs to the end? I'm interested to see.
well, there's two options for them now. Either go on the softs now and then the mediums to the end of the race, or go onto the mediums again and then the softs to the end of the race. There's two options. Obviously, the option where you choose the softs last is the one that gives you the highest chance of getting that fastest lap point inside the top 10 or outside the top 10, either way. But at the same time, I'm not sure it's the best choice, considering that other drivers might go on to the other situation, might go into the other strategy and have an advantage now after their pit stop. Meanwhile, Rob Forbes goes on to a one-stop medium to hard.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not sure. Thinking he's down there as the leads have caught these top three now, so I wonder if one of these guys head or fancy just driving the pits this lap and maybe saving some time, because you will lose time getting overtaken here, but Legends are backwards later already.
Yeah, here he goes. Another overtake that isn't really, no, he wasn't able to do it just yet.
Oh, Asciano spun it. Oh, I think he's got wind damage, so yeah.
Yeah, and Ollie Flavel gets a 5-second penalty for a severe collision with Asahina, and Asahina puts it into the wall. Big wing damage there, and there goes Z3, and Asahina retires from the session. That was dangerous there for Z3. Yeah. Almost hits Asahina there, and Asahina now retired from the session.
Got to run on Slater here. It's the all three pits, so that's give Legend. He's got going to get DRS as well, but Leon, he's got the opportunity here. He's going to go around the outside, is he? No, there's no room there, but Leon had the better exit there, but he got to stay behind one more lap. But look how close these top three are now, all separated by a second. Yeah,
let's go on board with Leon here, as he's really close. He's looking at that diffuser of Nexus Legend. It is close. Jeez, Ollie Flavel also out, also retired, and has left the session as well. So the championship leader not making any points here today.
Yeah, actually I might be in the stewards, I believe. Yeah, it's not good to see. As Leon, he's all over him. All he's got to do is get a good exit out of here, and he should soon start to lead, because Legend will have no DRS this time, so he's going to be a sitting duck for the Williams driver. He's going to get a good exit here, is he? He's going to have a run. Surely this would be an easy overtake down this pitch straight, not back straight, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, well, both of these drivers with similar amounts of ERS. In fact, Leon runs out of ERS basically. He's down to 5%, and so Nexus Legend, who didn't run out of ERS, was still able to use overtake mode and defend into the final corner. Better ERS management, keeping Nexus Legend ahead for now. Yeah.
Leon's got to save his battery this lap. Obviously, this new game, the ERS management's gone a lot more emphasis in ERS management. Obviously, you have to do a lot more changes per lap, and Leon got caught a little bit there. But if I was Leon, I'd be on harvest mode for this lap and go for an attack next lap.
Yeah, Nexus Legend right now is saving through this whole section. I think here he's using a bit. Yeah, he's going up to 2. To at least use a bit here to defend, to make sure that he's not going to get attacked into turn 8 here, and he doesn't. But he's keeping it really low, and Leon was, for the first part of the lap, he was the guy who was on higher ERS mode, not saving. Now he is saving.
Westy in third place. He's got a whole battery, Westy. So Westy.
Oh wow! You see,
an opportunity here.
Yeah, and he does have an opportunity. He's in the DRS range. He's got a full battery, and man, it's full to the brim, and he's not using much here either. And the thing is, I think that's the smart thing to do. You're catching up because those two are battling anyway, And
also the DRS keeps you in tow. Yeah, you don't need the DRS can gives you a few tenths a lap. So yeah, as the owner finally
he does have the slipstream. He does have the DRS. He doesn't need to use the ERS. He can save it.
Yeah, exactly.
But the one thing I'm going to say is I would try to never let it get to 100% because that means you're wasting energy now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's 100% now. Yeah, so he could have used some here. If I was him, I'd run it. I'd stick it at 2 or I'd stick it at 3 this lap because he's losing ground a little bit now. So if I was him, I'd use a bit this lap to close in on these two. These two, well, Leon's quicker, but he's just not using battery wisely. He's running out of deployment at the end of the straight. He's got a little bit more this time, so we'll see what he does now. But Legend's saving again, so Legend's got more again. So he fancy a fight back here as Leon will get the slipstream, but he just doesn't have the straight line speed compared to Legend. He just dies out in the straight again. Here he's nowhere near.
Yeah, that is remarkable here, really.
Gets a good exit here,
oh yeah, there we go. Leon now side by side. Can he make it stick? Yes, he can. In turn 1 already. And every the thing now is every single bit of fighting between these two allows Westy to get closer and closer. I mean, he is at this point he is right behind Nexus Legend and just looking for a move here. But it seems like Westy is actually quite content with keeping it calm and just staying behind, not fighting, and trying to get away from the rest of the pack, trying to get away from drivers like Unknown African in 4th place, Colo Man, Nexus Clone, and just widening that gap.
Yeah, these top 3, they're pretty comfortable top 3. So these top 3, if they don't get involved in it's a bit of podium battle. And in my view, looking at this, it's going to come down to penalties who wins this race, I think. Looking at these 3 look all evenly matched for pace. As Leon, he's trying to get out DRS, but in doing so, he's going to lose his battery. And Westy is finally using some. He's only on 2, which if that was him, I think he's being a little bit too conservative on that.
Yeah, if there was live betting on One Hub Racing races, I think everyone from Unknown African from 4th place down to General would have really, really high odds. Yeah. And the top 3 would probably be around, it wouldn't be all too much. Because, and remember, these 3 are the top 3 from the grid. So, what I talked about earlier, the Nexus Legend in Spain was the only driver this season to win out of the 2nd row. Everyone else has started on the 1st row of the grid when they won. I think this is going to continue here.
Yeah, these 3 look like this looks really. Obviously, Westy needs to win this race because he's a long way back in the standings, and it's still ready to go off this race. Westy, you don't want me to leave it. I've got a job opportunity now though. But crucially, Legend still got DRS off Leon. And obviously, if you got DRS off the car ahead, then you need so much more overspeed to get by. As these guys, I believe they'll be in very shortly. I wonder if Westy fancies staying out for a lap and using that battery up and maybe trying to overcut, but I don't think that'll work.
It could be a strategy to use that battery for 1 or 2 laps, but he doesn't seem too eager on using that battery at all, whether he's behind someone or not. And now he picks up a 3-second time penalty, but 1 penalty here doesn't mean all too much if it's your only one.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
That's not too much of a worry because I'm pretty sure Nexus Legend has at least 1 penalty, and I'm pretty certain Leon might have 1 at most. I'm not sure if he has 0 or 1, but doesn't have more than 1. But Nexus Legend might have. I remember his name popping up once. He might have 2, but he has at least 1. And now Wesley picked 1 up as well. So overall, they're still in the same range here. It could end up being the decisive factor, but for now, with 15 laps still to go, and I think one of these drivers at least is going to come in now, and indeed 2 of them, Leon and Westy, both come in, and that's what Westy really was hoping for, I think, that someone in front of him is going to join him in the pits here.
Yeah, Legend's got another penalty as well, so he's on at least 6 now, so...
Yeah. And that might be the good news for Westy here, as he does come out, and Leon as well. They're both on their way out now. Oh, they rejoin in huge traffic here. Let's see, where is Leon? He gets ahead of all of them. Westy next to his teammates, but yeah, that is a smart move there by Westy's teammate, by Coleman, letting him through to not hold him up. Bag of bones, picking up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Didn't hit the limiter in time.
Yeah, in that period, we also lost Rob, who hit the wall coming out of turn 7, so he's out of the race too. So we're down to 12 runners at the moment from 19 starters.
Yeah, and we still have 2 drivers fighting for that fastest lap point outside the top 10 with Janul and Praga. So they could at least pick up 1 point as, you know, a little bit of a salvage.
Leon's hitting traffic here, so it's, will he come in the pits? I think unknown. This is going to be interesting. Come on, the pits. He's got to try and get past.
Yeah, I think Nexus Legend is going to rejoin just ahead of Westy, but Leon's behind Leon.
Out. Yeah, Leon's. Oh, sorry, Leon's already pitted. Sorry,
yeah.
I lost track there.
Here he goes, and Westy is passed for now, but Coleman as well. No, wow, he took a little bit longer there in the pits, and he is definitely behind Westy, but ahead of Coleman, so he's still able to hunt down the 2 drivers in front of him. I would disregard Unknown African at this point because he still has to pit one more time. Exactly.
Yeah, but he could come back. Unknown could come back into play and maybe fancy maybe a top 5, top 6. Maybe he could come for that. He's not had many points this season. This is a good opportunity for him to get some points on the board. And
remember, he is most likely gonna switch onto the softs for his final stint. He started on the mediums, he switched on to the mediums, and so he does have to use another tire. That is certain. So he has to come into the pits again, but it's probably going to be onto the softs. I don't see why he would use the hard. So he's going to have a lot of pace in his final stint for 6, 7, 8 laps. And you only lose 16 seconds here on a pit stop. So yeah, Unknown African is up for maybe 4th place here. He could challenge Coleman and James Slater, who are both on the hards, and really gonna lose time once those hard tires are used up.
There'll be 2-3 second delta there, so yeah, that is a possibility as Westy clears Unknown there crucially. And now these front 3 are sort of apart. We'll be just see if they come back together again, or if Leon can pull away. That's what we need to see, because if Leon has an extra penalty, we're not sure yet. He'll need a 3-second gap, and he's almost there, but not quite.
Yeah, the gaps are a little bit too big. Nexus Legend will be the only one here in the top, in the whole field, in fact. The only one in the whole field who has DRS, who's in the 1 second window. Everyone else so far spread out that no one's going to have DRS except for him.
And this should be an easy pass as well.
Unknown African doesn't even fight it, and why would he?
No. Pragen again, he's going to be a lap behind, I believe, now. He comes out,
and Nexus Legend needs to use that momentum now to get up to Westy and get into his DRS zone, into his 1 second window.
Yeah.
Seems like it's 1.8 right now, 1.6. It's always changing.
You know, Westy's slowly. The gaps seem to stay pretty stable at the moment. Westy's slowly gaining, but it's about 10th there, 10th here. He needs a bit more than that. Wants to.
Yeah, no. Well, Westy does seem to gain on Leon quite significantly. A 10th here, 10th there. You said it, but it's pretty much constant gain by Westy. Nexus Legend, that gap seems to be stable at 1.6 to 1.9 seconds. Westy, I would argue at this point, seems like the fastest driver on track.
Yeah, exactly. And Leon said he wanted the guy between him and Legend, but he's got to be careful. That guy could become ahead of Leon. So yeah, he's gaining. To be fair, he's gained about 4/10 this lap. So Leon, look, Westy's used a lot of his battery though. He's using that battery now, and he's gaining, but he lost a lot of time there though in the final sector. Maybe Leon's fancying. He gained a couple of attempts that lap though, so yeah, he's still in there.
And remember, we still have 11 laps left to go, so plenty of time for Westy to make up or to close that gap. All he needs really is about 3/10 a lap, 2 to 3/10 a lap, and he would be in a really, really good position to mount a challenge in the final laps of this race.
Yeah, and you see it, he's gaining again, but I think Leon's started to cover that a little bit now.
Yeah, maybe Leon noticed. Maybe he saw what was going on, that he was actually losing time to Westy, and so now he picked up his pace a little bit. Now we're up to 2.4 again. So Leon really picking up his pace here, finding his rhythm into this final stint of his, and it's looking like the gaps really don't change at all anymore. Around just over 2 seconds for Westy, just under 2 seconds for Nexus Legend, and that's where they are right now.
Yeah, I think these guys were even much for pace, but the pit stops, they just spread them out a little bit, obviously with the traffic.
Yeah, meanwhile, Praga in 11th place with the fastest lap of the race. That would give him a point, but it would be the point outside the top 10, at least right now.
Yeah.
Well, let's go to 9th place. Nexus Clone here, almost within the 1 second window of Z3. He's getting there. That's the closest battle we have on track right now. So not much action other than looking at gaps and seeing where maybe one driver might close up to another.
Oh, that was... Sorry, Z3 got on the grass there. He almost pitted into the wall, but he survives. But he's on older tyres, so I expect Clone. He's got good opportunity now, but I don't... not really overtaking spot this corner. It's either the hairpin or the straight after where you go for the overtake. But I think he'll hang back DRS here and get the move done on the straight.
Yeah, this right here is not going to be it just yet. Stays behind. They both go a little bit deep, and that's the chance here for Nexus Clone, but he sticks behind him for now.
He's getting a great exit there. He struggled on the exit.
And now he's too far away, it seems. Yeah, and there Z3 goes defensive and is able to hold on to the position. But one more DRS zone right here. Good exit from Nexus Clone. Is it going to be enough to attempt an overtake into the first corner? Yeah. And look at this. Z3 going defensive again into turn 1. And it seems like Nexus Clone wasn't expecting that. He was sliding a little bit there, almost just before the braking zone.
Yeah, he wanted that inside line, but Z3 took it there, and he's got another penalty there, so Chapman's starting to bite. And
that was turn 3, turn 3, one of the easiest corners on this track to cut. That's what most drivers pick up their warnings and penalties. That's the number 1 spot here, turn 3.
Yeah. So we saw Sebastian Vettel in the real life race do that this year as well as Z3. He's getting very close to them walls, I have to say.
Jamie, I'm German. Don't mention the Vettel incident.
No, I wasn't happy with it.
I'm just saying that was.
I'm not a Hamilton fan, so don't worry about that.
Now I'm worrying even more. Meanwhile, Unknown Africa. Let's get back to this race. Unknown Africa now in the pits. He is going as expected onto the softs, and here goes Nexus Clone, and Nexus Clone attempting the overtake, but Z3 went into the pits anyway. But here comes Unknown Africa now, and look at the gap. He has a gap of now 10 seconds. It's going to come down a little bit here. 9.4 as he comes out of the pits. Yep, with 7 laps left to go, or 8 laps for him even. 9 seconds to James Slater, and then another 3, so 12 seconds to Coloman, 11 and a bit. If he all he needs is 1.5 seconds a lap, and we're talking fresh softs compared to old hards.
Ooh, that they're crossing the white pit exit line.
That is unusual, but it does happen every now and then. And Jonas, a little bit uncautious.
Bag of bones here. This should be an easy overtake. Obviously, fresh softs against relatively used mediums, not fully used mediums, but.
Yeah, meanwhile, Nexus Legend must have made a mistake. Remember, the gap was at about 1.5 to 2 seconds. It's jumped up a whole second since then. Yeah. Must have made a mistake somewhere.
the gap between Leon and Westy is staying around 2 seconds. So I think Leon has this. I dare not say it, but I think Leon has it covered.
Don't say this early. There's still 6.5 laps to go.
Yeah, no, the wall's tight here. Is
Jonas the commentator's curse is very real. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jonas. Ninth place overtake through the final chicane, through the wall of champions. Not through the wall of champions, but right next to the wall of champions, and up to 9th place. At least 2 points for him right now.
Picken hits the wall. He's hit the wall. He's got wind damage. Yes, he has, I believe.
Yeah, right side end plate missing. Yep.
That's his charge over.
Look, if your right side end plate is missing on this track, you lose, I would estimate, about half a second a lap. I think he can still do it.
Yeah, he's still gaining. Yeah, it's not like
exactly
Silverstone or stuff like that. So yeah,
he doesn't go into the pits. I think the smart move here, just finish it now. Go on with your race. And he's still gaining because remember, the two drivers in front of him both have old, hard tires.
Yeah, they're gonna be like rocks at the moment. Them tires.
Yeah, it's so hard to get the hards on temperature here on this track. Almost impossible. So they're struggling with that already. And now add that they're old. And now add that you have a guy behind who's on fresh softs.
Yeah.
Which pretty much reach the perfect temperature on this track quite easily. So, I think Unknown African still has a really good chance, even with that front wing damage. He shouldn't pick up more. If he picks up any more front wing damage, that's going to be his charge over. But now, I think he can still do it.
I think he's gained a second this lap, so yeah, it is still a possibility.
Over a second since...
It will get James Slater, but Colo Manu, he could maybe get him. I think he might be too far ahead, but you get 5th, I think.
Yeah, meanwhile, Nexus Legend has lost some more time. He's now up to 3.5 behind Westy. Westy himself still in that 2-second gap, just over 2 seconds behind Leon, so absolutely nothing changed there. They're on pace with each other.
Yeah, just the pit stops, how the pit stops worked out, and obviously Leon had that bit of clear air, which helped pull a bit of a gap, and Westy had to clear a bit of traffic, and that's just, these two. And Westy should take good pride in his performance today. Obviously, he's had struggled for results so far this season. Look, this is a good performance, and he will lose ground on Leon, which will hurt him, but he can definitely be a contender for the rest of the season.
Yeah, the one question that does remain is how many penalties does Leon have? We know Westy has at least 1, but I've only seen 1 from him. Nexus Legend has at least 2.
Yeah, I think Legend.
So, yeah, Legend is out of this one. He's going to be 3rd most likely, unless he picks up some more penalties, but he would have to pick up a whole lot in very short time.
Got penalties as well, so yeah, he's safe and third,
yeah.
So, yeah.
But how many penalties does Leon have? That will be the question that will be answered once he comes across the line, and once Westy comes across the line, in fact, that's when we will know the answer. But Westy should at least look to stay within a 3-second window. That needs to be his goal here, because there may be the chance that Leon has a couple penalties under his belt, and so Westy, with only 1, as far as we know, as far as we've seen, with only 1, might be able to pull out the victory here right at the very end on penalties.
Yeah, as Praga gets you for 12th place, as Unknown Africans gained another second, so it is possible. As Bagel Bones pits, obviously free pit stop, you've got on them soft tyres near goal for the fastest lap.
Yeah, double those points from 1 to 2, smart call.
Yeah.
As he is on his way out of the pits, leaves the pit lane right now, and he's way ahead of Praga. Praga now entering. Oh, Praga comes in.
Yeah.
He wants that fastest lap as well. His tires are a little bit too old, he feels. So he comes in for a new set.
you know he'll come in. Or is he a lap behind? Does he know a lap behind? Because I don't know if he can. Yeah, he's a lap behind, so I don't think he can come in again. Because he'll come in, it'll be lap 30.
No, he will be able to set another lap because look, the leader Leon still has 2 laps to do. This one and then 2 laps, so he's got plenty of time to actually set another lap. Janul doesn't, but Praga could actually get the fastest lap outside the top 10 with this move.
Currently, the fast lap inside the top 10 is Z3, but obviously Bag of Bones is going to try and beat that.
Yeah, meanwhile, Leon, we're on, not on board, but we're looking at the race leader and the guy who's projected, if he wins this one, or even if he gets second on penalties behind Westy, he would be the new championship leader in the drivers' standings.
It's going to be a 20-point lead, I think.
Yeah, if he well, 20 points on Ollie Flavel, but Nexus is also going to pick up some points, so it's going to be a little less. It's going to be 16, based on the current situation. If they finish that way, if Leon wins and Nexus Legend gets third and Westy gets second, if Westy gets second, he's going to move up to 80 points, which does put him at least up there with Ollie Flavel, 15 points behind him, as Ollie unfortunately did not finish.
Yeah. So I got a bit curious there because Bag of Bones just ghosted him, and I realised now this new update, if you lapse, you can't ghost, so that's why it was happening. So
yeah. Meanwhile, looking at Unknown African here, we're on board with him 1.5 seconds, and remember, with that front wing damage, he's been gaining so much. 4th place is not on the cards unless Coloman has plenty of penalties, more than Unknown African. But James Slater is certainly under attack here.
Yeah, he wants to get within half a second down his pitch rate in the last lap to have a lunge at him as we're on the final lap now. And Leon West is gaining, but it's not enough. You've got to hope for penalties.
Yeah, as long as he stays within that 3-second window, he's not going to overtake him in this final lap with 2 seconds down unless Leon makes a big mistake. But if he stays in that 3-second window, he still has a hope that Leon has too many penalties and Westy wins on those.
As Leon's approaching the hairpin now, so he's got the final sector to go. A pretty, not comfortable win, but a good win for him so far. And he's gonna be his 4th win this season off 2 non-points finishes. This is what I need to get his championship back on track, as he's going to approach the final chicane now. Westy not far behind, a good race for him in 2nd place, but we'll see what penalties do offer here. Leon approaches the final chicane. He's going to see that checker flag, and Leon will win the Canadian Grand Prix.
Well, will he? Yes, Westy, definitely. Westy, 3 penalties. And Nexus Legend also 3 penalties. So nothing changed there except that Leon really wasn't under pressure by either of them because of their penalties. Coloman now coming up. He will finish in 4th on track. The question is, how many penalties does he have here? I think he's got even more. He's got 4. So James Slater moves up to 4th, just ahead of Coloman. Look at this, less than a second. James Slater in 4th, Coloman 5th, Unknown African P6. So for Unknown African, the charge not successful. In fact, 7th, because Nexus Clone didn't have as many penalties.
Jonas, he's too far back.
And here we are. That has been the Canadian Grand Prix. Wow, what a race that was!
Front 3, they were no lead today, and
let's look at the results once more. And I'm gonna ask you right now, Jamie. Let's wait for the podium ceremony here, but I'm gonna ask you in a second who you think is gonna be driver of the day. But first we have ILRT Leon on the top step of the podium, winning after these last 2 races we talked about earlier. The last 2 races from really not good, didn't start in Spain and did not finish in Monaco, had to retire, and now he's back on track with his 4th win of the season. Congratulations to ILRT Leon. So who do you think is who's the driver of the day for you?
Well, I've just looked at the race director, and because Leon got no warnings at all and won the race, Leon is my driver of the day nomination. He didn't get a single corner cut warning all race.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. I'm gonna say, for me, it's James Slater. Look at where he started, 13th place. Also, no penalties. Moves up to 4th. He really flew under the radar the whole race. But man, did he do a really good job.
He's Mr. Consistent this season. That's his 3rd, 4th place finish, and his 5th top 5 finish. He's yet to get a podium, and I do hope he does because he's driving really well this season.
Yeah. 3rd, 4th place finish, 5 times inside the top 5, not once a podium. That's consistency with he's not the fastest, but he is the most consistent by far, it seems. And who would you vote for as you're watching for driver of the day? The poll will be up on Twitter later. I think later today, or is it going to be up tomorrow?
A bit tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay. So make sure to follow at OneHub Racing on Twitter to see the poll tomorrow. That has been the Canadian Grand Prix at OneHub Racing, and we are gonna bring you over now, or recommend to you to move over to the one, the only, the Prestige tier, who are underway already. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Austin Smith.
I'm Jamie Metcalf.
And, Jamie's going to see you next time.
Yeah, so next time. Enjoy the week off, everybody. In fact, there might be a few guys, new teams next.
Good night.